let's get started. And let me flip back to an actual map that you guys were on, I think. Actually, I think I just built it to, yeah, I built it over to the side. Cool.
Yeah.
Where we had last left the Tree of Ravens, we had taken some time to rest at the Galaxy Vial, trying to get our feet back under ourselves and to figure out our next motive, where we were planning on going next and what we were planning on doing. Upon setting up in the Galaxy Vial rooms, we found that there was this null white space that stretched out and encompassed what was in our mind or potential foreshadowings to things that would happen. In Razzik's case, a learned library of books where he can research various magics and tomes and reclaim what he's been missing this whole time. In the case of Eelix, a warning of things to come in the form of a stage play, as well as some fun books that he could use later on in his journeys as he pilfered them. And as for Karrith and Nyphix, they got to see an empty sand pit, a Zen garden, if you will, with a bonsai tree full of ravens. And upon taking out a bit of aggression on the tree, what have I been? Oh my NPCs. Oh, I know what I did. There we go. And upon taking out some aggression on the trees and finding some mutual ground of why these emotions haven't been tracking. Where Nyphix shared that she was battle worn from birth till now and never really took a chance to break. And she's kind of envious of those who do get the opportunity to break. Where Karrith is more on the side of having a moment of reprieve from the nightmares that continually haunt, feeling like the world is somehow laughing at him.
Mm-hmm.
We awakened in the morning to find a beautiful breakfast from one of the ordered shops nearby, and the girls thanking us for our patronage of helping them out with the golden dragon that they were missing, the idol, and giving us for their own concierge, a arms dealer of sort, by the name of Don Tueli. Their instructions: find a place that is empty and devoid, preferably a room, and set the card on fire. When you do, Don Tueli's shop will appear before you, and he will happily sell you whatever goods he has. Of course, for a marked down price for thanks for your job. We exited out and saw one of the bandits that was harassing us before, the most unlucky of sorts, Scab, wandering the streets, prowling. And curious about what he's prowling for, we began to follow him. After all, he would have some information on somebody who we're after in the name of Kurtz, if we are so lucky. So why not? A hand washing a hand. We pursued him down the alleyway, and upon scaring him, he responded to tell us that Neil, the person who Eelix had stabbed to death back at the bandit's lair, was alive and kicking and wandering around. And he wanted to make sure that he was just, not harmed and was an undead spooky thing. Because undead spooky things are very bad, and he'll have to kill them again. Upon approaching Neil, we saw him making a purchase at a vendor, getting himself a fresh new robe, and making a deposit of some worms into the shopkeeper's hand. Using detect magic, Eelix saw many, many worms inside of this man's body, all of them multiplying at a rapid pace. And Razzik, joining suit, perused some questions to Neil, as Neil walked up with familiarity to Eelix by the name of Bertrand, an identity that he may or may not have had in the past. Upon asking him, "What's with all the worms, my guy, and why are you so gross?" he told you guys that he was given the gift of eternal life, and he just wishes to share this gift so that other people may also live forever. And he offered to share it with Razzik, who told him politely to go fuck himself. And as he then, disheartened, started to walk away, realizing he wasn't going to be able to turn any of you towards the great cause of Cork, a man who you guys had ran into in the jail, he wished you all a merry way and proceeded to head off. That is, before Nyphix tried to sneak up on him and cast Remove Sickness, only to unfortunately be afflicted with it as well, as Neil lunged forward and bit her in the neck. This music does not really accompany what I'm saying here. So quiet and calm. There we go.
Maybe it's spooky. Okay.
As he bit her in the neck, he injected a series of worms into her. She tried her best to get him away from her, but all he did was smile and continually utter the word, "Congratulations! You've been gifted." With that, she tried to get away and was raked across the back, and Karrith had tried to pry off some of the worms, accidentally infecting himself as well. And once more, Neil uttered, "Congratulations! The gift has been shared. Now you'll know. You'll know the beauty of Cork, the beauty of eternal life." Eelix, thinking quickly, tried to back down the fight, parlaying with Neil that you guys will go your separate way and he'll go his, and we can just resolve this. This doesn't need to end in bloodshed. And Neil, not to have his plans obstructed by a couple of ex-guild members, was polite enough to inform the guards that the Tree of Ravens was here in the market square. And after a skill challenge, you guys fled town, trying your best to escape, succeeding in running away from the guards. You find yourself exiting out of the south gates through one of the narrow hallways and entryways. And there's two things that are noticeable to the party members, two of them in particular, almost immediately. Karrith, you, in this moment, as you were maneuvering through these crowds, maneuvering through the people, felt almost a little extra nimble, a new hop in your step, almost stronger than you were before, faster and hardier. You get a +1 to your strength, dexterity, and constitution scores. You don't feel any different. You don't feel anything inside you. You even kind of question if the worms got in you at all. Maybe it was just your mind playing a trick on you. And Nyphix, you are racked with extreme pain. You feel the worms crawling through your muscles, feasting on your magic and your bones, and multiplying. You did not feel any faster, stronger, nor did you feel more erudite. In fact, you felt extremely hindered in those moments. And even now, you feel them coursing through your veins, making their nests. The four of you, and Scab, who you brought along, are well aware of a area outside of Belfont. Far to the south, there is a set of woods. The woods are usually vastly populated by more of the monstrous peoples. They have their own quirks in that forest, but it's more free reign than the cities, places where guards wouldn't choose to really go. Though it's a day's journey away, especially on foot. There is also, however, a couple nearby cave systems you guys can spelunk and explore. Tree of Ravens Guild was around here. Only suits to find that you might find a friend in those caves, and by friend, I mean potentially comms. And of course, we have Scab, who may or may not know the whereabouts of Kurtz. But these are all things that are nebulous and in the air.
Well,
I'm back.
a good 10 feet back from anybody with worms in them.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not getting too close to the people that got the squimmy squallies.
All right. I don't know exactly where I cut off. I remember saying that all these things are nebulous in the air, and I was going to say Tree of Ravens. What would you like to do? So Razzik and Eelix have made their own pact in the back, keeping to the back of the line. What about Karrith and Nyphix?
I think I'm gonna make sure she's okay. Like, I know we ran and we did what we could, but if she's in any form of pain, would I be able to notice it?
I would say it would be a little hard to not notice it unless Nyphix wished to roll a bluff check to pretend she's okay. Nyphix, what would you like to do?
I know that she would try.
Okay. Nyphix bluff. Karrith, sense motive.
I swear to God, if that's a 2, I fucking quit the evening. It's a fucking 5, but the -2 makes it a 3. What the fuck?
It's okay, I probably didn't do any better. Yeah. That looks extremely cocked, but I'll take it. That's only a 4. So I'm right under noticing if you are or not.
No, she has a 3. You have a 4. You notice.
Oh, I thought she said she had 5.
She had a 5, -2 to make it 3.
Oh! Okay.
So both of you are both very shaken, very rattled by what happened. All of these things, still, no breaks, consistently happening quick as shit. But even in this moment of weakness, you do notice that Nyphix is trying her best to keep composure. But with every feel of those worms in her muscles, you see her twitch or move her neck or just trying to make the ick go away.
Dude,
On the verge of breaking.
Also, I'm going to give it to Razzik and Eelix. You could tell that she is not having it. You guys have ventured with her for long enough, and I'm not even going to bother making you roll against the 3. You win.
And is my detect magic still kind of going? Like, am I able to see if the two of them are both still infected with worms? I know Nyphix is, just from the way she's acting, is going to be my guess, but Karrith.
As you flip back on detect magic, yeah, Karrith's got worms in him. He is not unaffected. They're just doing the same things. However, if you give me an arcane check, I can maybe give you a little bit more knowledge.
Well, let's see what happens when I do that.
Razzik, if you're also curious, I'll check to you, because I feel like that was what you were about to ask.
Yes.
Well, that's a 13 of... Let me grab my character sheet.
I'm doing the same thing.
Ronin's Den, Character Vault, Pathfinder.
18. 30.
All right.
Arcana. Oh, look at that. I don't have Arcana.
Oh, no, it just doesn't, surprise me.
No, because my character's more psychic than magic.
All right. So with that, Nate and Sweet Mama, if you guys want to deafen yourselves, and when I go like this, you undeafen. I don't want to have to type this up twice.
Okay.
So what you two realize is these worms are acting very differently. Where with Karrith, they are essentially eating him the exact same way. They're almost rebuilding him as well, taking the forms of his muscles and his skeletal structure. They are slowly integrating themselves into his body. However, Nyphix, she's being feasted on in a much different way. almost slower, more methodically. Almost like they're consuming her magical pool, her divine magic.
Yeah, I was
They're
gonna say, I
feasting
wonder if
on her mana.
they react differently based on the type of host they're in.
But they are, it's almost like they're feasting on her mana. So I'm going to undeafen them real quick. And we can pop back into this. Cool. All right. Information given.
So, yeah.
So what are we gonna do about those worms in you two?
Well, I have a thought, but you guys won't like it.
Fire?
Electric, actually.
Mm.
It hits the whole body simultaneously, which could potentially barbecue the little crustaceans that are crawling around in y'all.
Is that safe?
It's a lot of lightning. No, it could totally kill you. But
Is there, like, do we have an idea
I
it's
would-
less, chance to
I
turn
would
our
really
friends
say-
into barbecue?
I mean, I don't have
Wait,
anything
what are we
else
talking
that
about?
would be able to pull. I have nothing that even approaches the correct tool to respond to this situation. Even if the tree was fully functional, I still don't know what we would do. This is a very bad situation. I can't think of a worse one. So we either experiment on them, essentially, to try to kill the worms inside them, or we try to immediately and with all haste find someone who knows something about this and get them out.
The only
Are
people
you
I can
guys saying
think
this
of.
amongst yourselves, or are you just saying this to us?
No, I'm talking out loud.
Okay.
I don't mean to hide or plan anything behind anyone's back. That is not my intention.
Yeah, and the only people I think that could possibly help us would be the girls at the magic shop, but I don't know if that's not really a viable option at the moment.
No,
Well, I mean, it could be, but it'd be really dangerous getting in there.
Right. And then if we get caught and they're already compromised, what will our fighting level even be about like?
Yeah. But either way, you guys got worms.
Yes, they do. And though I care deeply for what happens to them, I have no interest in being worm food sooner than my time.
I can't even think when it attached to me. I thought I got it off Nyphix.
You did not.
I think these things are spread by touch.
I do not know. But they definitely seem to be by bite, by claw, potentially. Any sort of fluid transfer, and there you go.
Then we can't starve ourselves, or it's just gonna feast on us worse.
Like I said, electric. That's my only idea. And it will absolutely suck.
How many do you see in me correctly, like right now?
How many do I see? Or do we see?
About like 10, 12.
Yeah,
Where are
10
they
or 12.
mostly centralized?
Hands and
Hands.
arms.
And arms.
I'm gonna take one of the belts from my thing and try to tourniquet my arm, just to see if it like restricts it in any way.
Okay. So what do the worms do when he does that?
They seem pretty unplussed. They're currently consuming those arms.
Doesn't
And
seem
well-
to do anything.
Is there a
Doesn't
water
seem-
source nearby?
It did rain recently, so you could probably find a puddle nearby.
Hmm?
I'm gonna go ahead and go over to this puddle real quick, and I'm just gonna try to put my hand in it.
You place your hands in it, and you feel the cold, tingly sensation of the cold waters over your hands, just caressing them. Nothing unusual about it,
Okay.
except maybe the feeling of vibration. Almost like you can feel the hum of the water. Feel the things moving in the ground.
Definitely going against what I was originally thinking of doing.
Which is what? Submerging yourself, trying to oxygen deprive them?
No. I was going to make it easier to do that electrocution. See if it would do anything when it's centralized on my arm.
Does anyone have a healing anything for this situation? A spell, a potion, a scroll, a good luck charm? Man.
I mean, in all reality, I think I do, but I'd have to check to see if it was touched.
Well, I'm just saying it might be good to have a thing on standby before we try to barbecue the worms out of someone.
Yeah, no. It's touched, and that's not happening.
Well, you could touch me if we electrocute him. You're wormed, he's wormed, so, like, that could work.
But if it works on him, why would I touch him to heal him afterwards?
Well, because he's still going to take a hell of a jolt.
Yeah, but she's going to reinfect
She's
him.
wormed.
So we need to juice her first.
Okay. If she goes unconscious, we're going to have to perform some sort of medical treatment on her because she's going to be burned, so...
Well,
Just-
that's the thing. Like, we need to have something to
Right.
heal her after, we give her the
Right.
old jolty jolt.
Right.
That we don't have to
Well-
touch with, like...
You said there are woods to the south, right?
There's a large, entire forest to the south.
Perhaps we could find some sort of healing herbs. Or something to treat the burn with. Before we
Or-
start...
a natural
Fortunate.
pesticide that won't hurt them so much. Kind of like how pepper is a pesticide, keeps slugs out of your garden because they can't stand the taste of it.
That is an excellent thought. But would your character know that?
I don't know. I want to say just kind of, because he would know a little bit about everything with the way that he's always switching personas and using disguises to try and fit in places. So, like, odds and ends and all that stuff, definitely, but I don't know of anything that in depth.
Oh.
I would definitely
Still
say
have
you
the
have a
scroll of
good wealth
protection
of...
from evil on me, don't I?
We can
I
always
feel-
make a basic knowledge check to find if you know anything, and then we can take some time before attempting this plan to gather some herbs to form this pesticide that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
I re-uploaded the map as far as I've worked on it.
I mean, that's basic. I would consider that basic gardening, Pepper, snails don't like pepper.
I mean, I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I honestly don't know.
That would be my position with the DM.
I would say, given your track record, you are the jack of all trades. You know a little bit about everything, but not everything about it.
Yeah.
All things. So I would say that you might know, you would definitely know that a couple bugs have aversions to things. These types of insects, however, whatever they are,
Yeah.
it's logical to put that to it, see what happens.
Yeah, it's like, I no idea specifically about these things, but hey, I noticed when I put pepper in my garden, they stopped eating my plants.
Right now, Occam's razor is the best surgical tool.
I agree. All right, well, let's try to scout for some of these peppers, something wild we could find that would substitute maybe to fill the goal. And while we're out there, we also could look for some sort of healing herb or some herb to treat burns. We're gonna go.
Razzik, what about the scroll of protection of evil? What about that?
That's a good idea.
I did
Would
not
the
consider
scroll
that.
somehow, like, evict them from our body?
Could it also not simply bless your body with protection from evil, thereby also blessing the worms because they're in your body? I feel like that could go either way.
Are they necessarily evil, though?
It's hard to say.
Yeah. Are they
It's
evil
not
or are
like
they
you can
just
have a-
little worms that do what little worms do?
You remember Neil referring to them as a gift.
Yeah, but that guy was clearly batshit.
Right, but he did say they were a gift from some dark god type thing or god type thing.
Cork.
And I mean, cork is not exactly what I would say is good. I'd be willing to try the scroll out. I think that'd be a good idea.
All right.
Who wants
You
to
know.
use it?
It's a good first
I
start
don't
rather
wanna
than
hand it to you
barbecuing
in case
people.
I just don't want to hand it to you if it can transfer the way it is.
Well, drop it on the ground, and then I'll inspect it with detect magic and make sure there's no worms on it. And then, if it's safe, you can go for it.
Alright, well, I'm gonna take it out of my pocket and drop it on the ground.
And then I'm gonna inspect it with detect magic to make sure there's no worms or funny business going on with it.
You gently place the scroll on the ground, and as Razzik sets up his detect magic and begins to take a look at it, you notice that there aren't any worms in it. At the same time, a very strong gust of wind picks up and catches the scroll, and it starts to lift up off the ground.
There are no worms in it. Step on it? I don't know. Don't let it flutter away.
Make a reflex saving throw.
Yep.
I swear to God.
It's the worst one. Let's go. Here we go. Well, I got a 7.
I mean, can I try that too? Just because I'm not going to let the scroll go away.
What god did I piss off today?
You?
What do you say, Spike?
Go ahead, Eelix.
God damn!
Okay, all right. Well, guys.
So you guys watch as it starts to
Can I go for it?
Yes, absolutely. You watch it start to pick up and the wind starts
Watch
to
this be a 1.
and Razzik's like, and he goes to step on it. And as he
Oh
goes
my
to step on it, it scoots out from underneath his foot. And then you watch as Eelix bats at it a bit, trying to catch it. And as Eelix bats it and tries to catch it, Karrith, you feel a burst of speed you've never felt before in your life. You are to it in an instant and catch it out of the air.
I just
Well,
stare at both of them.
How did you move so fast?
Maybe put a stick on top of it next time. I don't know. That was.
Is there any rocks on the ground?
Plenty.
I'm gonna pick up a rock and I'm gonna put it down. I'm like, all right, Put it down and put the rock on top of it.
Just gonna set it down and put it.
You scroll down, rock on top of it, move back, detect magic, looks. It can't see through the stone, but obviously you can tell there's no worms in it. You're fine. Goddamn divination spells and random gusts of wind. I was like, this will be kind of funny. Wait.
Wait. Wait a second. Please.
It's like that episode of Futurama where the last dollar goes away until he gets electrocuted trying to get it off the power line with a rake.
That was going to be funny until no one could roll above a fucking 5.
Right? If I get electrocuted, we would have tested a theory.
All right. So with that, Razzik, you're able to go over, pick up the protection from evil scroll.
A worm-free protection from evil squirrel.
Worm-free protection from evil scroll. It wouldn't
Okay.
be like that.
I heard squirrel in there.
I don't know. Fucking.
When did my scroll become a squirrel?
Maybe it always was.
The squirrel's got the Let's go.
My luck, the squirrel that's a squirrel would have worms in it.
Although, speaking of, I forgot to do this with you, Razzik. You got a new book from the girls, and I told you what spells were on it, but I also told you that there was a phrase on top of it. That phrase was, "Let the sun light the way."
Okay.
And it is written in a different language other than Common, which I believe you have the language that it's written in. Give me a quick second now.
I have several languages, so.
Tis-
6.
Tis Elven if you got it.
Don't. I have Common, Undercommon, Sylvan, Draconic, Orcish, and Abyssal.
Okay, either way, you would have been told that it's what it says in Elven. So it's all good one way or the other. However,
Let the sun light the way. Okay.
until you can learn how to speak it, you will be unbeknownst to what it does when you say that.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna write that down.
Also, keep in mind, linguistics is a check in the game, so if you have it, you can roll linguistics.
I do actually. I don't have any ranks in it, but I do have it. It is a class skill. I don't know if it's one you can use untrained or not, though.
I think you can use it untrained to mimic speech, but either way, worms first.
Right. We'll try that after.
It has to be trained. It's got the star.
No problem. As soon as we level, I'll put a point into it, and then I'll have training.
We did level up recently, so if you did just want to move 1 point to linguistics, you can do that.
Level to level 3?
4.
Oh, I
I
should
did
probably
not
level.
level.
Yeah, I didn't level up either.
Well-
I'm sorry, I usually warn everybody. I remember to level up.
Yeah, I leveled up. During
Whoops.
The time when
Yeah.
we talked about it. Level 4. is
I
what we should currently
fucking
be.
forgot also. Okay.
I'm gonna check on the well-being of Nyphix at this point. She's been quiet.
Very quiet.
I'm just watching everything in stew and knowing the fact that I know how that's cast. So
And Nyphix, at the same time, you're recalling that instant almost in this case of what you could have done differently. You had mentioned that situation, being face to face with Neil as he was, had shook you because you've never been there before. You've never had that experience before. How are you handling that now?
well, as they're standing in a circle discussing things, Nyphix is definitely She's got herself sitting propped up against a tree, kind of watching the discussion ensue. She absolutely does not want anything to do with this discussion.
I think occasionally you would just see me looking over my shoulder back at you and then just back to the discussion at hand. I'm trying to keep my distance from Eelix and Razzik as well, just so that I don't infect them.
All right. I'm sure Eelix and Razzik both appreciate this.
Yeah,
They're not the kind of worms that
wanna
wake
be
you smarter. So yeah.
Worm.
So what are we doing with that protection from Evil Scroll?
I guess I will use it, right?
Yeah.
That's a spell I could cast, right?
As Razzik goes to unravel it, Nyphix is gonna speak up and go, "You should who are you casting that on again?"
You, as you can heal.
Should probably figure out closely how that's cast.
Well, I wasn't just going to blunder through it. If it's a spell I can cast, I should be able to cast it with no problem.
You can cast it as a sorcerer wizard and as a cleric, oracle, or war priest.
Well, there you go.
But what do you have to do exactly? Like, you don't have to touch to cast this, correct?
No.
Yep, it is
Correct.
creature touch.
Oh, it is touch.
You gotta touch.
Nyphix is just gonna look up at Razzik and go, "Yeah, I didn't think you were wanting to touch."
Yeah, okay, hold on. I got an idea. I'm thinking. I can, if I have detect magic active, right? I can see where the worms are in her body.
Mm-hmm.
And the spell's effect is instantaneous, right?
I believe so.
Okay, so I could look at where the worms are in her body, then touch an area where there's no worms even near it, and cast the spell instantaneously and like just go poke and done, and immediately retract my finger.
Are you saying this out loud to the party by any chance?
I'm just, yes, why not?
You can try.
Nyphix, of course, she's gonna start kind of chuckling and go, "You really think I can't tell where they're at right now? You really think you're gonna find a clean spot?"
And after looking at Nyphix, they are everywhere. Nyphix is loaded with these things.
Okay, so no, and also you're being eaten alive.
Which both Razzik probably gets a case of the ick, and Nyphix, your eye probably twitches as one of the worms kind of burrows behind the eyeball.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
And you feel its legs caressing the back of your eye as it's moving.
Okay, so here's the situation. There's no way in hell I'm touching her, so that's out. I can barbecue her right now before she's made of worms. Where are we at on that?
You're gonna have to test that on somebody.
Also, I will say that while Nyphix has more worms in her than Karrith, Nyphix is being consumed slower than Karrith is.
Okay, so apparently one of y'all has a non-picky eater and one of y'all has a picky eater in you. When it comes to your worms.
Besides the point, Razzik.
Yeah. After I just looked at her with detect magic on, I am creeped the fuck out. So
I think I'm gonna roll perception just to make sure no one's following us.
Okay.
I rolled 16, but I can roll again if you would like me to.
That's fine. You guys are currently not being pursued. You are far outside the city's limits. You do still hear the bells and whistles of the town, so it is a little weird that you're not being pursued.
I'm just gonna take that as a grace and we need to figure where we're going from here. Regardless of whatever we're infested with. We need to figure out where we're going and how to take care of this later. It's sands of an hourglass for us right now.
I agree.
What are our options?
Well, I would say we could push into the forest, try to set up like some sort of rudimentary camp, and try to find items for some sort of pest removal from you, as was suggested. Or we could try to barbecue one of y'all right now, or we could try to cast a scroll. However, I can't cast it on Nyphix. I'm not touching her. So I'm sorry. The mere thought of it gives me the willies, and I'll barbecue myself before I go down that route. So do you want me to try and...
able to cast it on herself?
That's a good question. Can she cast? Well then, I will set it on the ground and put like a stone on it so it doesn't float away, and step 10 feet back.
Frail would pay to see Death so shook.
Death in both games and not in games fucking hates insects. So that's right. Like if it ain't a butterfly or like a praying mantis or something, it can fuck right off.
Well, worms aren't insects.
Or arthropods.
Does it have more or less legs than I do? And is it covered in like is it a mammal? If the answer to both of those questions is no, fuck it. I don't want it to exist. Go away from me.
We know what you meant, but that's not what you said.
Not what you said.
You know what I'm saying.
Okay, so Nyphix, scroll is on the ground, ready for your custody.
Sorry.
In all technicality, Nyphix doesn't need it. So she's gonna stand up and she's gonna hold her hands up. If that's what you want me to try, I'll try it.
Yeah.
But her
if it slows it down or gets rid of it completely, it's good for you.
her look is just gonna kind of be like, yeah, this is pointless, but I'll do what you want.
Okay. You sign the signs, speak the chant, rattle your rattles, and the barrier comes up around you. The worms are unfazed. They consume, they move, they eat.
They're not technically evil. That's what I thought might happen. Okay, well, who wants to ride the lightning first? Nyphix, I'm voting you. Because, oh my god. I mean, maybe. We have no idea what we're dealing with. We're far outside of our comfort area and our depth. So
If we're gonna try anything at this point, I mean, if I'm the most inflicted here, I mean, I might as well give it its all, right?
right?
Okay. Well, I have an option.
Okay.
You just have to get Karrith to agree.
What does this have to do with me?
I could, in all technicality, where did it go? Just fucking had it. I could, since we're detecting that they're trying to inflict you faster, I could cast Shield Other on you and ward you from taking the damage transfer what you have.
No.
See if it
I know what
cleans
you're
it.
gonna say next.
I mean, if it cleans it, I mean, at least we know they can be transferred.
Would any knowledge skill help with these? Like, for example, maybe planes or nature, history. I got them all. Like,
I'm afraid to say no on this one.
okay.
However, a knowledge history roll could help you in a different direction.
Okay. So, I could throw one of them down, no problem. That's a 25.
So, based on that history check and what you had gathered from Neil and the mission briefing, you know that the artifact that you guys were trying to steal was actually procured south of Belfont, almost, I think, adjacent from Torlay. Check real quick my notes. You would have to pass through the woods naturally to get there. Yeah, it was like between Belfont and Shent.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I tell that to the party.
Then we just need to plan on moving.
Well, then let's tally ho.
Pick a direction, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You guys lead the
And-
way.
I mean absolutely no offense by this, but I'm keeping you two where I can see you. So, you guys lead the way.
Fence taken. And I lead the way.
Oh, it's not you, my friend. It's the worms. They creep me straight the fuck out. Oh, thank you.
Once in
Noted,
a while,
Razzik.
Razzik, maybe you will have to take the lead.
What were you going to say, Nyphix?
I said, noted, Razzik. Nyphix is just going to stand up and kind of start meandering in a direction.
As Karrith and Nyphix begin to maneuver southwest, heading towards the direction of the woods. It is getting over past a day of your journey. I will need a will save from both Karrith and Nyphix, as the worms now have a day to feast. Are you kidding me? Karrith, your strength,
That's a
dexterity,
3.
your strength, dexterity, and constitution scores all go up by another one. What did you get,
That's not a
Nyphix?
good thing.
Woo, that looks like
10? That's a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 10.
and plus your will save.
Shit. Actually, I think that gives me something. For once.
I was gonna say a 10 is not a save, so hopefully it does.
+8.
That's a save. All right, so the worms will not proceed to manifest in you any more than they already have, whereas Karrith's worms will be repopulating at the end of the night, and he will become stage 2 infected.
If a day is going to go by, do I have the stuff to make a scroll? Can I use my book page, one of the pages out of my book, to make a scroll?
You can, and I also want to ask if you guys are going to plan on camping, or if you guys are just marching on till dawn. It's all about timing on this one.
I think given the fact that we are probably at some level pursued and the emergency situation we're facing, we'd probably just keep going.
Yeah, what's your mind?
Yeah, I would not be able to settle still.
Well, keep in mind, continuing to move will give you a level of exhaustion. Exhaustion makes harder saves, so just keep that in mind. Are we still comfortable with this?
I mean, I feel like this is an emergency. We kind of have to.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys managed to finally meet the end of the forest after a sleepless 32 hours walking. You finally managed to get to the edge of the clearing, and as you're maneuvering in, you will see a burnt down trader's wagon, entirely looted, and the people dead on the ground.
Completely looted, you say?
Yep. In fact, the wagon is still on fire on the back half of it. There's like a back quarter flaming arrow that is stuck to it and has kind of ignited the back of the wagon. Everything else is kind of charred off, and this seems to be like the last thing remaining of the fire.
How many people are there, Ed?
There are 2 dead bodies in this 4-seater wagon.
Men, women, young, old.
Man and a middle-aged woman.
Mm.
Judging by the tan lines on their ring fingers, they were newlyweds.
I kind of want to investigate the area a little bit further.
Okay. Karrith, as you proceed to roll that 19, what's your survival?
My survival. I have a +0 in survival.
Oh god, and let me just check for Pathfinder disadvantage. Exhaustion rules.
Oh, okay. So just 1 exhaustion?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna add that to me.
Okay, so you have the fatigued condition, so nothing big.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, you proceed to start looking around, and you will see foot tracks of what appear to be almost large dog-like feet. These things seem to be bipedal. There is human blood scattered around the wagon and claw marks retched in the side of the wagon. This was a ravenous attack. You even see bite marks on the man and the woman that were left behind, specifically around their neck where they were bit and snapped.
That's not good. Would I be able to tell what these bite marks look like?
From the large canine and the fact that you guys are all familiar with the area, it seems like gnolls.
Karrith feels a chill run down his spine, but he tries to hold up because he sees nothing of it other than just this.
We have seen that people who we killed ourselves have been brought back to life. This is just a theory, but what if the thing that brought them back was the worms? And though both of our friends are infected, they don't seem to be acting out of normal. So perhaps the worms, if convinced to inhabit the 2 dead ones, may be able to return them to life. Now, of course, they would end up with the same problem, but perhaps if cured of that problem, they would still be alive.
You got a DM duality.
Razzik, if you think I'm going to infect these poor souls with my current infliction, you clearly do not know me well.
No, I was simply...
Situation well.
I was simply theorizing.
Vic.
I meant no disrespect or any sort of upsetting situation at all. I just was theorizing.
Well, then keep in your head, Razzik, that the last thing we need to do is spread this force.
Yeah, I would assume that we might end up with a Smiler situation if we did that.
I mean, I don't know at all, but I'm just
What are you wanting from these corpses, Razzik?
not a thing. I just was hoping to bring back people clearly killed before their time. That's all.
And
I
you
have
think it's a
no
good thing for
ulterior
what they would
motive.
come back as?
I
Let's get
mean,
priorities
I have
straight.
no idea, but we've seen others.
Nyphix, as this conversation's going on, you can't help but hear inside your being something going, gift, 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 give the gift.
Fucking poor Nyphix. She's gonna kind of like touch the side of her head and like turn away from the party and walk away, kind of like shaking her head, trying to like get rid of the noises.
Nyphix, you alright?
We'll be all right.
We?
In the end, I'll be all right.
I looked at Eelix.
Give me 1 second. 1 second.
I'm gonna see if these gnolls are in any sight line, just to make sure that they don't just walk up behind us or anything, so I'm gonna start perceiving. And I suck. That's a 13.
So, as you asked me that question, you could tell I'm kind of just I'm looking around, right? Like I think I. Oh, this is Arden Arbor. This is not some place we really want to dawdle. The things that live here are a little quirky, to say the least. Depending on if it's morning or night, you might get a different reaction out of the same thing depending on what time of day it is. And it's erratic. Like, you know, in the morning, the bunny rabbits might come up and ask for a pet and a cuddle, and at night they're going to try and eat your face. I know it sounds really weird, but I've been here before. I'm sure of it. I'm like 98% sure that that's where we are right now. Even if these are gnolls that did this, they might not be the same gnolls when we run into them. This is where I learned how to do some of my disguise work.
Okay. So, what do you suggest we do?
I don't think we
Move
can stay
on.
here then.
Yeah, you know, sorry for these guys being eaten and everything, but there's nothing we can do about this.
All right.
I agree.
This is not our problem. So, yeah, we should keep going, and we should get out of these woods as quickly as we can.
Then let's go.
But no matter what, you can't trust what you know when you run into something that you know, because everything you know might be wrong.
Then I'm gonna just
Okay.
trust that we're just gonna go. Don't stop for anything handing out picnic baskets.
Okay.
Okay.
So as you guys proceed to maneuver through the woods, avoiding this incursion, Nyphix, are you returning to the group? Are you gathering your senses, trying to shake those voices out of your ear?
I mean, she's dawdling because she's trying to pay attention to her surroundings as well as drown out the voices in her head.
So as you start taking up the rear and Karrith is now in the front,
Giggity.
Razzik, you can't help but notice that there's a wormy boy behind you, a wormy boy in front of you, and you're just sitting in the middle of that sandwich.
It feels real unsafe, and I'm going to prepare a spell just in case, and I'm gonna step, I don't know, way behind everyone.
All right.
I don't want to be in the middle. I want to be able to see what's happening.
And as you prepare a spell and try to step off to the side so you can make sure you have this advantageous position on whatever might come your way, you guys continue to maneuver through the woods, trying to get on your way to Shent. And it isn't before too long you start smelling burned corpses. The smell of pork and burned hair.
No, we don't.
Lot.
Just no DM.
No. Didn't happen. Remember last session? No.
No. You want me to roll wisdom save? No.
Sorry, I had to. I've been saving that one.
And as you guys are wandering by, Razzik, being detached from the accompaniment, you're the one that will end up noticing on the left is a heap of like somewhere around 24, 25 gnoll bodies, all of them freshly burned and charred.
No. Just wait for everybody to go by and keep on walking.
All right.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
So you don't want to investigate that at all?
Nope.
All right.
I got nothing for a pile of gnolls that are freshly burned.
All right. So with that, you'll watch as Razzik picks up the pace and starts trying to truck it up.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
And you guys will continue to move through. That said, does everybody want to dash on from that as well? I'm assuming by the quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think we're kind of prioritizing where we need to go.
I was gonna say Nyphix is a little preoccupied.
Yeah. I think if anything, I would have just been checking more the surrounding as we were walking. 26. Just to make sure, like, whatever made that heap isn't just going to keep following us as we kept going.
Fair point.
So as you're kind of paying more attention to the heap as well as you're passing and then trying to take a look, you'll notice that at the bottom of the heap, one of the hands is moving, still attached to the body, and is wriggling around as if trying to pull itself out. And you watch as the fingers disjoint themselves upwards before they slam in the dirt and rake uselessly back towards the pile.
That's not good.
Look, this place is weird.
And we waddled away.
As we're walking away, I'm just gonna take a quick look with detect magic to see if wormy worms.
You will confirm wormy worms. That body was ritualistically burned, and there are a half ton of worms congregating in that pile.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that as we're walking away. I'm like, and that is what happens with total worm infestation.
Nightingale fire didn't help.
Yeah, they don't seem to be too phased by the fire, at least in the state of those bodies.
And then, last but not least, final event as you're leaving the woods, you will hear the sounds of a party going on in the woods, with cheering and yipping. The yips are very accustomed to the sounds that hyenas would make as they are cooing and having a good time. There's also the festive smell of alcohol and the occasional beats of music. Again, not my monkeys, not my circus. You can walk past or you can investigate. I am not your dad.
That's a knoll party, it sounds like. What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. Can we see it?
You'd have to get closer to see it.
All right, then
I-
let's just keep going. Like,
Yeah.
do we want to fight a bunch of
Literally-
gnolls potentially right now? No, we do not.
Literally, the thought that's playing in Karrith's head right now is like, we ran into 3 instances of a null, and it feels like. I wonder if he should just keep this thought to himself.
And then, as you sit there thinking if you should keep this thought to yourself, you will hear something in the woods go, "Ah, good wood, yes."
All of us?
Yeah, you'll all hear it, but Karrith is like to like catch it in his ear, the good wood, yes, in that weird tone.
Master Yoda?
Is this some kind of woodland creature just like speaking?
You have to get closer to
I'm so intrigued. No, God, I'm trying to keep my priorities straight, but that's really intriguing. Just like, what the hell was that? I'm just gonna try to stick with the group then.
All right. Continuing through the woods.
Another thing.
Through
to
the
cook for me.
woods.
I'm just kidding.
All right. You will pass by the sounds of Fred Burger, and you. I don't know if any of you guys watch Billy and Mandy, but that's definitely from.
I haven't seen that since like 2004.
Yeah, been a while.
I used to watch it, but like way back in the
Billy
day.
and Mandy was fantastic.
That character sticks with me through thick and thin. I am Fred Burger? Yes. All right. You guys proceed to continue marching through the woods, and before long, are out on the opposite side, directionless in which way you guys should proceed on where to head to where this artifact is found. You just simply know it's between Belfont and Shent. So as we are searching this vast area, let's roll a percentile dice to see if we find it. And at the end of the percentile die, a day will pass and more will saves will be made.
All of us, or just one of us?
Just one for the group, and then
Never mind. I did that before you said one for the group. I thought that was an all of us situation like before.
well, I mean, it could be all of you if you decide to split up, but that would mean that you'd have to have some way how to communicate with each other.
Right.
Some kind of like ear
Okay.
communication device. Or worms, maybe you could talk to the worms, we don't know.
Right.
That's an
All
idea. Maybe you can communicate with the worms and ask them to leave.
We can shrink ourselves down really small and threaten to slice the splanchnic ganglia. It'll produce a bowel movement so crushing that, they'll be lucky to have bones afterwards.
They're worms, my friend. They don't have both.
Oh, I meant Karrith and Nyphix.
Oh, well,
Of course, they won't know how to play the holophoner anymore.
well, small price to pay, I say.
This walk is doing a number on me.
As you guys sit and rest up trying to figure out what direction we should go in next, night dawns, and unfortunately, you don't find any instance of this ruin that was plundered. No tracks, no footprints, no large army marching past. Night dawns. You take out your random supplies to set up a bit of a preamp to eat and greet, whether you guys are proceeding to rest for the night and sleep, or if you guys are going to brave another night and another level of exhaustion to keep looking.
I feel like we probably should rest, but I think one of us should always be awake and watching those who are infected.
I don't need to sleep, so I can watch.
Yeah, me and Matt
yes,
watch you.
Yeah, we meant watch you. Again, it's not personal. It's the things inside that we don't trust.
Yeah, I don't want you to get in touch with my innermost self.
I don't want you to get in touch with any part of me while you're worm infested, at least. Again, don't take it personally. It truly isn't.
All right.
Poor Nyphix at this point is really starting to get a little. She's feeling that disconnection now between the two that she's traveled with for so long now.
Yeah, like,
Finally,
we
the
can
outsider on the group.
Mm-hmm. She's starting to feel that disconnection.
we can let these two get some sleep, and we can just trade off our sleep, get less.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, some rest would be better than none. But we shouldn't tarry too long. Luckily, I didn't have to cast, so I still have all my spells.
All I know is
Third,
Nyphix is not going to be able to continue on another night because she is still sitting at the 3 health that she was at in town.
Yeah.
And that level exhaustion on top of it is, yeah, she's hanging on by a thread.
All right. Well, let's get some rest then.
Okay. Karrith, are you sleeping tonight?
My character doesn't need sleep.
Okay.
Half elf. So I'm just gonna sit
Oh.
there and practically just eyeball Eelix and Razzik for a little bit.
I don't think I need sleep either. I'm a dusk elf.
You will not need sleep.
Well, in that case, have a nice night, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Just remember to keep in mind, sleep and rest are different mechanically.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So as Nyphix probably tuckers her way into a tree, and Razzik finds the furthest spot between 2 points and walks himself up to sleep there for the night. Eelix and Karrith, you two are left awake into your own devices. And while I'm at it, sweet mama, if you can give me a percentile dice over under, I will turn this to some quiet, calm music for now. And Karrith and Eelix, anything you guys want to do for the night? The serene air cutting around you in gentle winds. Stars blanket the night sky, not a cloud in it. The smell of the campfire crackling, and the stumps that you guys have managed to find to sit on.
Well, I think I'm just gonna.
I
Oh, go on.
No, that was just
Nope, you go
Razzik
first.
did that.
I always go last. It's a thing I do.
I think Karrith is just kind of realizing like time is just even more fleeting. Like before it was just like, oh yeah, this is rough, and now it feels like just no time. And I think I'm gonna like try to take a moment and I guess just talk to you, Eelix, about all this going on.
Okay.
I don't feel like there's a lot of hope. And I don't want to be that guy. I really don't. But I feel like we've just been getting the raw end of the stick every time we moved.
Well, we've definitely been getting the raw end of the stick on every step of the way here. I mean, you and Nyphix, you're full of worms at the moment. Doesn't get much worse than that. But if you look at where we started and where we're at now, we're still on an upward trajectory, believe it or not. I'm going to say that while poking into the fire with a nearby long stick.
Yeah, we could have been hung from our necks a few days ago.
And we did weasel our way out of that. Quite well, actually. Quite well.
Gonna look over at Razzik sleeping. He said he let Cork out of that cage.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's acting really distant with us. Do you think he's been working with them since?
That I couldn't say, but I'll be honest. The worms that you guys are holding in you, and they jump from person to person when they touch, I'm trying to keep my distance as well, to be perfectly frank. I can understand why he doesn't really want to get too close to anybody right now, with the possibility of becoming one of Cork's smilers.
Right. Tell me, Eelix. What happened back there with the captain?
Well, so I can't actually remember all that stuff that happened in that session to like say it in character, but I'm going to go through it the best I can. In fact, let me see if I have like a photographic memory or some trick thing.
Would you like me to bring up the old map?
Honestly, that probably wouldn't help. I would need like to find my notes from that session, but I'm gonna go through and talk about how that encounter went. Me and the captain were the only ones left alive. We kept fighting, and Kurtz was just came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting to happen what had happened. Had
Malik.
everybody Malik, that's right. If the others were awake, that would have played out totally differently, I feel. But that fungus that we had on the back of our ears knocked everybody else out. And nobody could have expected Malik to do what they did. And that's why I've been wanting to catch up with him the most. He's the first link in getting all the revenge that we need to and want to get for the captain.
I just don't understand why you would do it for just a meaningless sense of war. Keep it prolonged and going. I just don't see the end to that. I feel like Malik doesn't really feel that way. And now just seeing how we are in our situation.
Well,
in a
wars
weird
are
way, I feel
profitable.
sorry for him.
Wars make a lot of money. Money makes people do a lot of strange things. I've been many people in many different places for a lot of different periods of time, and the one thing that's commonly causes people to lose themselves is money. And in war, there's always money.
I never like to feel sympathy for the enemy. But I think that just dehumanizes myself if I don't.
Again, I've been many different people in many different places, doing many different things, and enemy, ally. For me, that shifts on nearly a daily basis, and all I can do is feel sympathy for all the people that are out there, because they're honestly all just one bad day away from being gone and turning into something completely different from what they intended to be.
Is it wrong that I don't find a way to forgive him after what he did to all of us?
No. I don't even have any extra words for you on that one. Just no. Sometimes people do things that are completely unforgivable. And there's no shame in recognizing something is completely unforgivable and leaving it there and moving forward with the decision you have to make. Always go forward. Always been my motto.
I think he's going to take that to heart for a little bit, just to kind of nestle with something different than he has been lately. So vengeance comes last.
Vengeance comes when vengeance comes.
I think Karrith leaves that to be the last question he asks.
Eelix is going to do something he probably hasn't done, well, actually has never done, in front of any of the party members at this point. Because you could tell, Karrith at the very least is definitely feeling a little bit ostracized because everybody's treating him and Nyphix differently because of the worms. So he's going to use this point to do one of his alterations of his appearance again while sitting there poking the campfire. Not just showing up looking slightly different. He's actually just going to do his rejiggering of his appearance right in front of Karrith while working on the campfire. It's kind of like a subtle nod of trust, like, now you knew what I looked like yesterday, now you know what I look like today, and you saw how it happened. Or saw it happen.
I think you would make a comment about how subtly we change every day. You have to do it manually.
Been doing it for so long, I don't even know what I actually look like anymore.
Sorry, I'm running two things at once. Your conversation and a session with Mama on the side here.
Alright.
I keep going down checking my Discord when I hear the typing. I'm like, is there something popping through?
I will alert you guys as things quiet down and this conversation kind of comes to a natural resting point. You start to hear a faint chuckling, a giggling.
Do I sense where?
It's coming from the tree where Nyphix is nested. Like the voice is Nyphix's, but her voice is echoing. Like there's several Nyphixes giggling, not just the one.
That's not disturbing in the slightest.
You're sleeping, don't worry about it. I think at this point I'm going to kind of stand up then, and I'm going to go and see if I can, check on her.
For the most part, as you take a look at her, where she's sitting, she's got one leg kind of tucked up and the other leg sprawled out. Her arms are crossed on her body, and the giggles that you're getting are multiple, but sound like she's just been told a good joke, and she's just having a joke, a little jolly at it. You can hear it. Several distinct voices, all of them sound like Nyphix. And as you train your ears more, it's not just her that's giggling, it's her body. There are things inside of her giggling.
I think I would look upon her just feeling sorrow. I know what she tried to do was the right thing at that time, but I hate that she's the one that got the most brunt.
Yeah.
Is she sleeping though, or is she...
She's asleep, dead asleep.
Okay. I think I take a chance here then, and I'm gonna just stay close next to the tree, and I'm just gonna listen. But every time I feel a break in the tiny chuckles, I'm gonna try to say her name and tell her to stay strong.
Okay. With that, Eelix, you feel almost a pulsing in your robe, small, almost the size of, I would say, a little larger than a golf ball, smaller than a baseball. Actually,
Okay.
tennis ball would be a bit accurate. And as you pull out this pulsing orb, you are holding a brilliant, vibrant green egg.
Oh, that's right. So I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna stare at it for a little bit. Looking at it.
Okay? As you stare at it, you'll watch as it very subtly pulses. And then you watch little flecks of green start to come off. And it begins to take on a new color, blue. The way how it peels these flecks almost feels like the egg is taking on a disguise of some sort, a new persona, a new identity.
Okay.
Roll a sense motive on the egg.
Do I have? Yes, I do. It's a 6. Okay, so where's my d20? Okay. This dice hates me today. I change its color. Maybe the color will help. That was a 3. Plus a 6, so that's a 9.
You feel a kinship with this egg. Something almost as if it's modeling you.
Does it feel like it's hatching, or is it just doing little pulses?
It just feels like it's doing little pulses, taking in the surroundings, breathing almost. As it's pulsing, you feel it breathing. No air, but it almost feels weirdly like you're holding a heart in your hand.
Well, my default positioning right now with that is I'm going to be watching it intently while everybody else does what they're doing. Most of my attention is going to be focused on that egg.
I think I'll leave like Nyphix to relax a little longer, and then I'll come back to the campfire where you're at. Is everything okay?
Yeah. I hold up the egg and show you what the thing's doing. I'm like, it's starting to react.
Is that the egg that you took out of Razzik's ear?
Yes.
I would say that's one of the strange things, but you did just rearrange your face in front of me.
And you may do with that last bit of information, as that's where the dream is going to end for you, Nyphix, as you please. Razzik, you proceed to have a dream as well.
Okay.
As you're wandering around, taking in the sights of the town, a friendly place where you've been millions of times before, many, many friendly faces around. You are talking with people, the height of the town. Everyone is waking to greet the new dawn with you. Something just feels off. And you hear a slithering behind you.
Immediately turn and respond to it.
As you turn and respond to it, you will see a group of 5 people standing behind you. They all say in the same cadenced voice at the same time, "Congratulations!" And you'll watch a worm crawl out of one of their eyes from one side and into the other socket.
Without hesitation, I barbecue them. This is my world, you fools.
As you begin setting them on fire, trying to stop these worms from growing, you watch like a pot of milk. It just starts bubbling and bubbling over. Their skin and muscles melt, and worms fall out of their body before they start extremely, sweet mama, you can. Before they start extremely growing in size and just exploding with rapid growth. Soon you find that this blob of worms is overtaking the streets, and more people are coming out to witness these worms. All of them smiling ear to ear as they are just absolutely thrilled of these worms. And then you hear voices behind you screaming at you to run.
I crushed this entire town in my mind.
Roll a will save.
Fucking 9.
I knew a 4 had to come into play. I was like, every time a will save comes into play, it's always 4.
4 and 2. As
I got a 9.
you command yourself to take control of this dream, and you enlarge personally yourself, growing infinitesimally to the world as you watch the worms congealing themselves into a huge worm as big as you are. And as you proceed to take a look at the worms once more, it opens its toothy maw and slams down on top like a snake, ready to gore.
That was my mirror image, fool. And then I barbecue it some more. I told you, this is
That was my
win.
mirrored image.
You have come to the one place you have absolutely no hope of winning.
Roll another will
Your
save.
shots missed me, fool.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Oof. It's like the dice want to tell the story.
Yeah,
It is, and
it really
it's
is.
annoying because it's like the dice contradict what you're trying to do so hard, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it is a dream. I can only hope that you're not casting fire on any of us while you're sleeping. That's all.
Jesus Christ.
As you feel the worms burrow into your body and begin to take hold of you, your magnanimous force of self commands the worms inside of your body, and you are now this massive giant with the power of worm arms. As you begin thrashing the village with their own body, slowly being taken over yourself. Roll another will save.
Oh my god.
One more fucking crap roll out of you dice, and I'm switching to a different dice roller. Fuck,
Oh.
nat 20.
Okay.
Like, oh, really? Okay. You think so?
Alright, there's your nat 20 for a dream.
Yeah, well, you know.
You thrash with your entire sense of being. You will not be defeated here in your mind palace. And before you know it, you become an engulfed flaming god as the worms fall from your body. And as they descend from that flaming corpse, you will watch as they turn to little ice balls as they rain atop of the village, and people cheer. And that will be your dream for the night. As Eelix and Karrith, a shrill noise will cut through your air, and Nyphix, mind.
Oh, yes. You guys are going to hear Nyphix basically startle awake, just absolute losing her mind, screaming. She's screaming, no, 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 one after the other. She's going to wake up, stand up. She's going to be all but basically scratching at herself as she stands up and attempts to what looks like remove the worms from herself in almost kind of like a fever dream. Just absolutely
I assume
sanity
that
snap.
wakes me up.
You all, as you're startled from your dream as well, Razzik, at the sound of this horror, you will watch as Nyphix is tearing the feathers off of her own body, trying to get these worms out of her as she is screaming and hollering.
I think at this point I would see that. Can I tackle her to the ground?
You can. And I feel like Karrith would act with reckless abandon, so I will give it to you. Roll a CMD check and see if you beat her CMD.
I just don't want her hurting herself more than she already is. You said CMB, right?
CMB versus her CMD.
Okay, so that's 7 plus 7, 14.
And Nyphix, what's your CMD? No, you don't roll for it. It's just the
Okay.
CMD.
That is actually a CMD 14.
You meet, so you beat. You grab a hold of her and slam her to straining her hands and trying to stop her from ripping her feathers out. Nyphix, are you still screaming at this?
I mean, she's considering the dream she had and the way it ended. I mean, it's gonna take a hot minute to fucking come out of that one. So yeah, probably.
I'm practically just going to try to like grab her arms, but more like try to invade the spot where she was trying to scratch herself, just to hold her. Just so if she starts scratching, it's just at me. She's just gonna have this moment of just like embrace, hold on, like, and I'm just gonna be saying, "It's okay, you're awake, it's okay."
Eelix and Razzik, what do you guys want to do? You just watching this go down, staying far away from the worm jamboree?
First
yeah, I'm
off,
gonna not get too close to
first off,
that.
I look at Eelix and I'm like, dude, do detect magic right now. Look at me. Make sure I have no worms in me.
I do detect magic.
As you
This
cast
bro code happening over there.
as you cast detect magic, you don't see any worms, but Razzik, you feel crawling behind your right ear.
Give me 2 minutes. Give me a minute. I gotta take Dingus here outside.
Will do.
Yeah.
Does anybody else need a bio or drink break?
No,
I'm good right now.
Come on. You too, Henry.
I'm sitting with an arm's reach in my refrigerator, so I don't do shit.
Not
I got my
at
headset on so I can hear what's going on. Henry. Let's go. Come on.
Can take over for you.
So as Eelix clears you on the worm check, but you still feel that crawling behind your ear, you reach back and you touch it, and you touch a worm, and as you pull it forward, you see a little earthworm in your hand.
Without hesitation, barbecue it.
It incinerates, you hear a tiny little vertebrate scream, and it is now just roasted worm in your hand as it ashes to the ground.
Damn.
All right, and then
Fear me.
and Sweet Mama, you have Karrith on top. Pain, this hard, fevered scratching. What do you guys want to do?
Well, once I
think you get
get control of my own situation, I'm gonna turn and look, and I'm like, should we continue to wait, or should I just try this? I'm looking at taking out his dog. Never mind. I'll just wait.
let's rephrase that, please.
He was
I mean-
talking to Eelix, and Eelix is not
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I know. But
remembered
it just
after
sounds
I
like he was
said
like,
it.
I'm looking at taking out his dog again. I was like,
Oh no, I
please,
was.
try that again.
Yeah. I'm looking at Eelix, and then I remembered he's taking out his dog, and I was fucking some bitch. Wasted
So-
I
the
think he
entire
can still hear you though.
Yeah, he can. So Karrith and Nyphix, what are you guys doing?
I'm practically holding on to her. I don't want her damaging herself. I already know she was at low HP. I just seeing her just damaging herself worried me more than anybody else would have been able to help in that situation other than me. Like, we're both infected. Like,
And,
it's all you can think.
and
Okay.
Nyphix, do you eventually find center and calm? And how do you react to that, finding that center and calm if you do?
She will eventually. She won't find center and calm per se, but she will finally come back to reality rather than the basic fever dream that she just came out of. Once she finds Karrith on top of her, her first reaction is going to be more startled the fact that he is touching her, knowing that she is so heavily infected.
I guess I will
So.
back off a little bit as soon as you settle a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of look at you. Like, are you okay? What's wrong?
As you go to let go, Nyphix is going to kind of stand up and backpedal a good 5-6 feet away from the party, just trying to finish settling herself. And
as
ahead.
you start to backpedal, you feel like the world almost drunk around you, just the ground shifting beneath your feet, like you're still trying to center yourself. It feels more like you're dazed more than anything, but you're still with all your senses.
as she backpedals, kind of like stumbling backwards a little bit, she's just gonna look at the party and go, I can't with whatever these are. I can't. I won't sleep anymore. I don't know what that was. I won't give myself over to that.
And you won't. We'll find out what we have to do.
Nyphix is gonna kind of look up at Karrith and go, "We can't let them take over you either. If this is as bad as it is now, I can't imagine what it'll be for you. I don't even know what that was. It made no sense." And she's just gonna kind of keep rambling on, kind of making no sense, little tidbits of just.
What did you dream?
And that's
People not willingly serving whatever this is. They're building something. I don't know what they're building. A statue, a building, a something. I don't know where. There's a void underneath the building. I tried to run. It didn't let me run. But there's other beings though controlling them that are not fully taken over, that are not like lost. These people are lost. They don't even know what they're doing. Or I think. I don't even know. It was a dream.
I also had a very disturbing dream. But in my dream, the worms tried to overtake my mind. Unfortunately for them, a wizard's mind is not so easily taken.
I'm glad it's easy for you to say, Razzik. Because clearly I had no other choice.
Our situations are vastly different. Please do not take any sort of offense. It was not intended.
You're going to take Nyphix's words. She's just, at this point now, she's not herself by any means. Her stability that you guys are so used to seeing is absolutely gone. Just there is no foundation underneath her at this point anymore. Her sanity is now.
You guys will also
Treat it
take
as
note that.
nonsense.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say to her, then treat it as nonsense. Keep your mind.
It's hard to keep your mind when there's other things there, Karrith.
Maybe you need the words you gave me once. You're not gonna do a lot by scrambling here. We can do this together.
Or you could let me take yours and make it one less party member losing their frickin' mind.
We could go either way.
Nyphix is gonna kind of wander, kind of quickly walk up to Karrith and just kind of hold her hand out, not particularly looking to hold a hand, but to cast a spell and ask him, just let me try something.
I think as Karrith lifts his hand, he's gonna remember every moment that you lent your hand to heal, and it was always to get out of our own head. And he's gonna reach out and wait.
Can I attempt to cast Shield Other on Karrith?
Yeah, and I need to read that one real quick.
So we'll just awkwardly hold hands really close, but that's it.
Not holding hands yet. We're not touching. There's no need for
like
touch
this,
for
like this.
one. Like, yeah, it's like
barely.
it's like
I'm waiting. We'll see.
Like the Sistine Chapel.
yeah.
It's like we're Mormon or something. It's weird.
No touch.
Head touch.
Ooh, this is worded interestingly.
Uh-huh.
I think in the moment of while you're like anticipating doing the spell, I think he's just gonna fill the void a little bit and say, is there a way for you to do what you're about to do, but exchange it back and forth once in a while so that you don't have to take all of it?
She's gonna look up and she's gonna go, not in all reality, but I don't know. I don't even know if this is gonna work. If it does work, there's a chance that I could try to pass all of it to someone else. Maybe.
All right, that's a toughie. All right, but I got it. So, Eelix and Razzik, are you guys? Eelix, you said you were casting the on these to see what the hell is going on as well, right?
Detect magic, yeah.
You will watch as you both will watch as Nyphix holds her hand over top of Karrith's, and as she does, and she begins to cast this shielding spell on him to begin warding him, you will witness the spell take hold on Karrith, and as it takes hold on his hand first, you will watch the worm in his arms begin to move towards his hands, moving towards that magic. And as it spreads out and starts protecting his whole body, you will watch as they start consuming the aura of the magic. The magic is taking hold, but they're eating it.
That's probably worse than if they were just being unaffected by it.
They're eating the magic.
Well,
They're not eating him, right?
Right. I was just about to say, however, at least they're not currently snacking on Karrith.
You
So
will
what if
also
we-
take note that as
go-
the worms are snacking on this magic, they are splitting, as they typically do when they multiply.
Okay.
They're multiplying a little bit faster with the assisted magic from Nyphix.
Again, that's not troubling in any way.
But they're traveling toward the magic, right?
Yeah. They do
I have
not
a
leave the
slight
body.
idea. I
They
have
do
an
not
idea.
leave the body. They eat the aura off of it.
Right, they're not eating the body, but they're eating the aura of the magic.
Well, they're also not coming out of the body.
Oh,
You're not going to really work these.
Okay, never mind.
It practically just added a new layer to me that they're just eating off of instead of me.
Okay.
That's all. So it's just like, that's the ward. So if it's over the flush and under the flush to ward, it's just doing the same thing. If anything, it just seems like it's now speeding their process.
Yes, but they're still not eating you, so it's kind of watch.
But as soon as that ward goes away,
you're gonna have
going
a lot
to be
more,
feeling that.
Yeah, a lot more worms. Is there some type of a check I could make to determine if it would be possible to put, if we piled enough magic in one specific location, it would pull them out of him?
I'm
Like, maybe
having
it's
some
a matter
God
of skill.
flashbacks, Steph.
You're having what?
I'm having God flashbacks from that other campaign. I don't think that's a wise decision.
I mean, look, man, you gotta try, right? I'm just trying.
All right. Well,
All sorts of things. Experimentation with your lives. Yeah.
I will give a check like that to Eelix, who watched the null bodies and got to witness another form of magic on those null bodies. But you turned your eyes, so I can't give you that check.
All right. What do you want me to roll?
It would be a knowledge arcane or
Don't have.
spellcraft.
Yeah, negative Ghost Rider.
I'll also let you roll an intelligence check
Okay.
to kind of make up for it. You won't get any ranks, obviously, but yeah.
How long is this ward?
17.
4 hours.
Plus your intelligence modifier.
Intelligence is +4 because I have an 18 intelligence.
21. So,
Question:
go ahead.
If the spell lasts 4 hours, how often let's look at a specific worm. How many times how long does it take for one to split into two?
Pardon me.
With the magic layered on top, they're splitting at a rate of like every 5 minutes.
It's 20.
Eelix, with what you've kind of learned, when you look at the null body with the detect magic, that pile of null bodies, the fire that was used was not magical. There was no residual evocation effects on that pile. They used regular fire. They did, however, have necromancy or healing magic of some sort cast on them. So there was a residual effect from that. The worms seemed to feed off different magics in different ways. And just like now, where there is a auric healing barrier that is meant to transmit some damage, they are coming to the surface, they are eating, and they're multiplying on it.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I know what I'm thinking as a player, but I can't quite say it as a character.
Yeah, I have the same kind of a thought.
Yeah. Like magic fire good, regular fire bad.
Oh, if you want magical fire.
Razzik, I'll let you roll a knowledge arcane out of here.
Me? You
Yeah.
got it.
Based on your dream that I gave you.
Okay. All right. That's a 23.
There is something deep in your mind that is troubling you about that dream, and you are wary to toss fire on things. However,
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. I guess that's true.
However, in all dreams there is the truth.
perhaps the dream was meant to to make you wary against using the thing that will be most effective.
I am the stone. You will read no reactions from me.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, you're just letting this like sink. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
I'm going to defer to other people because my brain's not working on this one, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not processing it.
Do you guys say anything like knowledge-wise that you're saying what you're trying to learn from what's happening with this board?
I mean, okay, so I would say I wonder how it would react to evocation magic, specifically the kinds of damages.
To be a little less cryptic about what I told you, get the sense that magics that are used to protect oneself or one's body also affect the worms in very similar ways. They feed on it like nutrients. It's like food to them.
Right.
You can stake
If it gives them enough of a nutrient to be able to multiply, then they feed off magic.
Sorry.
If that's the case, I am even more wary now about being infected. I have substantial magics. I would rather not have them in the control or even approaching the control of someone else. I could kill people.
Also, while I'm at it, Sweet Mama, do you need clarification on the dream that I gave you? 'Cause I'm doing this through one bloodshot eye.
No, I
Okay,
got it.
Making sure.
Yeah, you're good.
I look at the eyes of everyone and I go, I hope this gave any clarification what you need. But if anything, I'm left in the dark with all your blank stares.
Well, I'll be honest, as this wears on, I have less and less of a clue about what to do. And it seems like every turn where you think you might find some sort of help or answer, you don't. Instead, you find a brick wall, and it is both off-putting and deeply upsetting. And moreover, I worry for what may happen to you.
Then we don't got much of a choice.
No, we do not.
At this point, Nyphix is gonna kind of cast Detect Magic finally.
I
So that way she can truly see what's going on.
wouldn't do that if I was you.
And as you cast the Detect Magic, you will see many, many worms inside of your own body. And worms multiplying in Karrith's.
Play nice.
Ow.
My chair.
You'll also take note of something as you start climbing closer and closer down from the cliff that you were on. The dream finally settling in. You don't know how or why you think you know where the ruin is. only a hunch, but like instinct. Not the one you saw in your dream, a different one. Let's start.
Okay. I guess I just, I guess I'll kind of nonchalantly kind of ramble it out and go, I think I know where we need to go. Maybe?
We've been wandering for quite a while. How? You know what? Never mind. That's not ominous. Everything's fine. Shall we finish our rest and get going in the morning? I know I'm still quite tired. Eelix, please continue your vigil, and thank you. Try to get sleep. I just wander off to a further tree than I was previously sleeping up against.
Measures out 20 more paces.
Mm-hmm. Okay, poor Nyphix now gonna close your eyes and look up at the sky and go, God, I wish I hadn't detected magic. Through the sole fact that now she can actually see what's going on inside her own body.
And as you look up at the night sky, you see a worm crawl through your eye.
Oh, fuck.
Are we all getting ready to rest up again?
Oh, Nyphix is definitely not going back to sleep. That is a sole fucking fact.
I'm going to try. But before falling asleep, I will try to center myself and throw up as many mental barriers as I can imagine into existence. Walls
For the guy that has no worms in him, he really
surrounding myself at night in my head.
crazy.
You see wards of different countries pace this tree.
Yep. You see the 3 shields going around him. You see like this hail of light.
It's every spell I know and don't know, coming from the innermost workings of my mind and being expressed in light.
This is my no-no square. Nobody enter my no-no square.
Yes.
I think I feel like somehow that went backwards. Just staring at this ward now over his skin.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out now how the rest of that spell's gonna go.
Yeah, because it's going to be the end of the night here, so.
Yeah.
As
There's
the night
a second half to that spell that hasn't been spoken about yet.
Yeah, I think what Karrith is going to do is he's just going to sit by the fire and he's going to try to meditate a little bit, just breathing, being quiet, and preparing for whatever onslaught he's about to face when these 4 hours end. Just trying to be some form of resonance in his own mind to keep that the same chime he hears in his head every time, so that he just keeps himself.
As the night gets closer and closer to that 4 hours, both of you roll a will save with disadvantage. You know what? I don't think it
4.
matters to me.
I know,
That's a
right?
start.
It really
That's a-
don't matter.
11
But yeah, that was a
and then an
4.
8.
Plus 1, 5.
Okay.
8 plus 8 plus 8, so 16.
16.
16.
Which is a save. So you will not advance, but Karrith, unfortunately, you will. One more point into your strength, your dexterity, and your.
Which ain't a plus. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be.
Well, on the positive, you got another 4 hit points. Heal.
True.
And what's more, you guys now have a telepathic link to each other. Your worms are communicating with each other.
How would I know about that? Like, what signals in my head that tells me that?
Not in your head, in the whole of your body. Where you weren't able to feel it before, you now can feel your worms. They're not hurting or harming you. Really discomforting though, disquieting. You feel them moving within you to a rhythmic pace. And you almost feel your spirit expand. Presence of mind, as does yours, Nyphix, this presence of mind. And blending from what Karrith normally feels, where he doesn't feel the worms in his body. You no longer are in pain from this. And there's a weird feeling where these almost essences touch. And like a light kicking on in a room, to look at each other and come to the same conclusion together. Karrith can now feel the worms, but Nyphix no longer feels the pain. There may be an utterance in one of your minds of this new sensation. Maybe both of you have an utterance, and the other hears it.
I think the utterance Karrith would have would be like, I can't think of resting. Like, even though just trying to lay there and just let this sensation of rest hit him, that he just couldn't. It wasn't happening. And it was more along the lines because his mind just kept staying like that same resonance of just, I'm in me, I'm my own mind, I'm just trying to keep that same bell I keep hearing in my head, and I think maybe that's what gets out of just him saying that to himself.
In return, all you're going to hear is Nyphix's voice going, gotta find a way to get him out, gotta figure out a way to fix this, gotta figure out, like, it's the same, like, repetitious of trying to figure out a way to remove them, gotta figure out a way to fix the problem, gotta figure out, like, it's the same couple of words over and over.
I almost feel like that wouldn't even be this, like, a difference in his mind that I wonder if he would even realize that's his own thoughts or not. You know what I mean? He's been thinking of everybody else's words that have already been speaking to him. Like, thinking about what Eelix said, thinking about what Razzik said before we went into that gang hideout. And then remembering what happened at that tree. He's listening to everybody's voice in his head, so I would feel to some extent it's like hearing that was very abrupt, but not out of the ordinary right now.
as the new day begins to dawn and rest tries to come over all of you. Let's see something real quick. Are the dice going to be that dick today? They apparently are.
Ooh.
Another night, no rest, Nyphix. You are absolutely ass dragging. You'll get all your hit points and your spells back, but you feel it. Did you feel the wear? And with now knowing which way you guys go, you guys feel like calling it here tonight?
Mhm.
Or do you guys
I'm
want to
good
keep
to
going?
continue, but I'm always good to continue.
I'm good either way.
I do think this would be a good area to stop, because then we would at least have kind of the direction we need to go. We know where we're heading from there.
Okay.
If you'd like to, that's no problem with me, man.
It'll also give me plenty of time to I note for this one to my wife, so she has a pretty picture.
Jeez, dog.
And we'll probably start up next session the door to that ruin.
Okay.
All right.
How you guys feeling?
That works.
I mean, I feel fine. My character, on the other hand, is beyond creeped out. And, is prepared at any moment to electrocute the shit out of anyone who comes at him. Because whatever's happening is outside of his control and he does not like it. And also, it's bugs. Fuck bugs.
I was going to make Scab shoot himself again, because he's been very, very quiet this whole episode, which is very unscab-like.
Oh yeah, I
He's
forgot
just,
about that.
yeah, he's just at this camp and you just hear a random bolt shot, just like, ah! Fuck!
But I was going to do it to, like, kind of, like, untense the moment between Karrith and Nyphix, just to bring everybody back around, and I'm like, I forgot about it because I am just so fucking out of sorts.
Well,
Close this down.